Okay, this is just going to be a short video about how we can see clouds behind the sun and the moon. Now, this is not to scale at all, but what this right here is a representation of how I model things, where we see the sun rise, at our viewing distance. Whatever our distance to the horizon is, that's where we see the sun rise. And it follows this arc, and then it comes down and sets at whatever our viewing distance is to the west. That is the path of the sun and moon. Now there's also an arc based on our latitude, as far as where the solar noon declination is, or the moon's meridian passing is. This right here, because it's rising 90 degrees east and setting 270 degrees west, would be like a day on the equinox. But what happens is when it rises, in this area right here, this is where the sun and moon can pass through clouds, where we'll see clouds behind them if we have clouds. And then once it gets up to this point, you're not going to see that anymore. So at this point, if any clouds pass between you and the sun or moon, they're definitely going to be in front of the sun and the moon. Okay? And then over here, you'll see the sun descend and moon descend through clouds again. This is where you're going to catch it, between the horizon and right here. In this range right here, any clouds between you and the sun and the moon are going to be in front of it. But at this point right here, you can have them behind. So here's what I'm talking about. This right here is some incredible footage. Rethinking it all. I put a comment out asking to be able to use the full footage, but haven't heard back. And so I'm just going to use a couple short clips under fair use. I just want you to see what it looks like when clouds are behind the moon. I've showed you before with the sun, but I haven't captured this kind of footage yet, but I will. So I'm just going to play just a little bit here. Okay. You see how the moon went in front of those clouds? You see how it's in front of them right here? Just watch as it passes past. Yeah, now there are some clouds in front and there are some behind. And here's a little bit more. It's paused right now, but you can clearly see when the clouds are in front of the moon. All right, this is very common. We see this all the time. Clouds in front of the moon. And you can also see this edge right here where the moon is in front of these clouds. When I unpause this, you're going to see that these clouds are still there. You'll see them. All right, watch. Still, moon in front of these clouds back here. Moon's in front of these clouds. Let this go. I just want you to see a few more seconds of this. Moon's going to come up. We're going to see it in front of the clouds. Did you see that? Did you see that? You can see when the clouds are in front of the moon and one in front of them. Now, I saw a video recently where somebody felt like they were debunking being able to see clouds behind the moon because they saw clouds in front of the moon. I'm going to show you here. Clouds definitely do go in front of the moon. That is for sure, especially if the moon is high. Now, if you're watching it close to the moon rise and the moon set, that's when you're going to see the clouds behind it. Now, if it's up high, you're going to have clouds in front of it. Seeing clouds in front of the moon does not debunk seeing clouds behind the moon. We can have both. So this is some really great footage. This is the channel's Rethinking It All. I am subscribed. I gave it a thumbs up. It's only got 55 views. That's ridiculous. This is amazing footage. Everybody should see this. He's got a lot of other great footage, so check that stuff out. I'll leave a link in the description box. As far as clouds being able to be in front of and behind something, I want to share with you some footage I shot recently. It was in the last 2 weeks of a rainbow. And you can clearly see here that there are clouds in front of the rainbow and there's clouds behind. Okay, otherwise there'd be blue skies. you can see, as you look up here, there's clouds in front, and then here's the other end of it. Look at those clouds in front, and there are clouds behind the rainbow. All right, this is sort of obvious, but there's a point to it. And that is that the sun and moon are like the rainbow. They are rendered to us based on our location. You can never catch a rainbow, and you'll never be able to catch the sun and moon. The closer you get to it, the farther it's going to be from you. But when we stand still and we use high-powered zoom, we can see clouds in front and behind of each.